What if I told you that the key to manifesting unlimited abundance is not in your brain, actually in your heart? Recent scientific studies now show that the key to effortless manifestation is to get your brain to sync up with your heart. The problem is that getting your brain and your heart to sync up is more and more difficult because of something researchers are now calling frequency pollution. I'll explain more about that in just a minute. Plus, you're about to discover how this lost Da Vinci masterpiece, and how this woman shattering a wine glass with her voice, and how a strange frequency in the geometry of the Great Pyramid is the one secret you need to trigger your own heart-brain connection and unlock your natural ability to manifest unlimited abundance. Like I said, it's simpler and easier than you've been led to believe. Imagine waking up in your soulmate's arms, all while the sound of surf drifts through the windows of your beach house. Imagine driving that sexy, brand new convertible of yours down a country road with your favorite songs pumping through the stereo. Imagine being debt-free and so financially secure that you could send your kids or grandkids to the finest schools, and that no one in your family would ever have to worry about money ever again. But once you have the one secret that overcomes frequency pollution, manifesting financial abundance will feel, well, easy. And you'll finally see why the law of attraction never worked for you. And you'd finally get why trying to optimize your third eye or your pineal gland has been such a massive waste of time. Plus, you'll also understand how all those brainwave frequencies may have helped you relax, but never helped you manifest a damn thing. So make sure you tune in and watch till the end, because you're about to see the truth behind this manifestation secret the 1% don't want you to know about. As you're about to see, they've been covering it up since the days of Leonardo da Vinci. And honestly, it worked. Because let's face it, they've had us chasing our tails for years. I mean, I've tried every brand of law of attraction imaginable. I listened to just about every brainwave frequency on God's green earth. And I've even bought pills for my pineal gland and third eye. In the end, it was all just a colossal waste of time and money. Can you relate to that frustration? Can you feel that recurring disappointment in the pit of your stomach? That's why Da Vinci was forced to hide this manifestation secret in a painting 500 years ago. That way, anyone with eyes to see could use it. This secret has everything to do with what scientists are now calling the heart-brain coherence. When your heart and brain match in the right frequency, you will finally reach your highest vibration. And while that may sound complicated, Da Vinci proved it was easy as pie, which is why he explained how to do this by encoding it into the painting. Da Vinci proved that each and every one of us is born with the ability to manifest unlimited abundance with zero effort on your part. Which is even better news, because it means you don't have to go searching for abundance from something outside you. You just have to connect it with the universe. And the sooner you do, the better. Because for the first time in your life, you'll experience a life of true freedom. And while I understand that may sound a little too good to be true, make sure you stick around to the end of the short video today. Because once you see how easy it is to achieve heart-brain coherence, you'll see how modern science is now proving what ancients knew centuries ago, that we are capable of manifesting unlimited abundance from the universe. Which means from the moment that this short video ends, your life will never be the same. Allow me to introduce myself. Hi, my name's Mike Barton, and let's be honest here. The fact that I'm sharing this life-changing message with you right now is proof positive that the universe does in fact perform miracles in our lives. You see, I'm nobody special. In fact, most of my life has been underwhelming, a big fat disappointment to my family. Hell, my wife even called me a failure and loser. You'll see why in just a minute. See, I'm a college dropout with 6 figures of student debt. After I had quit school, I got started in the IT department at the University of Notre Dame. One thing led to another, and the next thing I knew, I'd been at that unspectacular job for a decade. I had to fight tooth and nail for my cost of living pay increases, and I never got a promotion or even a Christmas bonus. I trudged to work every day under the crushing weight of my student debt, which never got any smaller. It felt like I was going through life with a piano strapped to my back. Meanwhile, my marriage to my high school sweetheart became strained and distant. We had 2 kids right after getting married. We had the perfect little American family. At least that's what it looked like from the outside. But going to school full-time and supporting my perfect family eventually became too much. I got burned out and was forced to drop out of the prestigious engineering program I started. So instead of raising my family on a nice engineer salary like we planned, I ended up barely scraping by with my university IT job. If you've ever had to live paycheck to paycheck where you've never been able to get ahead, then you know it's a rough way to live long term. It took a toll on my marriage, my mental health, and pretty much every aspect of my life. But as a husband and father, I soldiered on, trying to make it work. Because that's what you do, right? But no matter how hard I worked to get ahead in life, something always came up to keep me broke. Maybe you can relate. An unexpected medical bill here, a random car repair there. The hits never stopped coming. I felt like someone had a voodoo doll torturing me with setbacks every time I started to get ahead. I was exhausted and worn out all the time. I could never catch a break no matter how hard I tried. Things finally came to a head one stormy June afternoon. See, we hadn't gone on a real vacation in over 5 years. My wife and kids were always talking about the vacations their friends took. So I drove Uber and Instacart on nights and weekends. I was committed to doing whatever it took so we could all go to Disney World, a lifelong dream for all of us. And when I'd finally saved enough money, I felt like I was floating on air. I can remember that Friday in June like it was yesterday. I came home from work and announced to my wife and 2 young kids that we were going to Disney World that summer. We danced and screamed in the living room. My daughter started belting out the theme from Frozen, using her hairbrush as a microphone, and then my son broke into Hakuna Matata. It was glorious. I hadn't felt this good, this proud, in forever. But then, just like always, life showed up to burst that bubble. You see, during the COVID years, the US government started a program to relieve student loan debt. The deal was, you didn't have to make any payments, and the lenders couldn't legally charge you any interest during those challenging times. But the government suddenly ended this loan forgiveness program, and the bank that held my loan sent a letter demanding their money, or I was going to collections. When I looked into it, I guess I filled out some paperwork wrong, so I was never actually eligible for the student loan forgiveness program in the first place. Legally, I was on the hook for all those back payments, plus the interest, all for an education I was never even able to use. As it turns out, the $6,200 I had saved up for our Disney vacation was the exact amount I needed to get my creditors off our backs. It was a total gut punch. I felt like I was going to throw up. My hands felt sweaty and clammy, and I started shaking uncontrollably. I felt so helpless, betrayed, and alone, like I was the biggest failure on God's green earth. But nothing prepared me for when I had to break the news to my wife and kids. When I told them that we had no choice but to cancel the trip, they were devastated. My kids started wailing, tears streaming down their cheeks. My wife just turned her back on me, her shoulders shaking as she wept. But then she turned back towards me. Her tears had turned into pure rage. And boy, did she let me have it. She said I was nothing but a string of broken promises, that I was a sorry excuse of a man, that I was an embarrassment and a failure, and that she was tired of waiting around for me to get my life together. She said that our kids deserved better, that she deserved better, and that my latest failure was the final straw. She stormed out of the room, started packing up, and took the kids to her parents' house down in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I mean, we'd had our share of fights over the years, but this was different. The worst part is that she was right. They did deserve better. I felt like a pathetic excuse of a man who couldn't even provide a decent life for my family. I sat in my empty living room and just cried. I felt so broken. And that was rock bottom for me. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to win my family back, but that seemed impossible. Getting rid of my student debt felt like climbing Mount Everest. I tried everything to get ahead, and yet we always stayed broke. I'd even tried following guys like Tony Robbins and other self-help gurus, but it always felt like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. And if you've been there, then you know how demoralizing it can be for you to work your ass off but never catch a break. Not wanting to be alone in my house, I went down to my favorite Italian restaurant down by the university. It's the type of place with old-world plaster walls, red check tablecloths, and authentic Italian cuisine, and the best red wine in town. A colleague of mine worked there and hooked me up with free drinks, so it was an obvious choice. I ended up sitting in a booth under a speaker blasting classics from Frank Sinatra and the like. I became completely entranced by some salt I'd accidentally spilled on the table. Salt was moving around because of the different vibrations of the music. It was forming strange geometric patterns, all on its own. I'll tell you why this is important in just a minute. I got lost in this trance, watching these crazy salt patterns take shape when a waiter came and asked if I needed another drink. But it was a new waiter I'd never seen before. He was an older guy with the type of eyes that always seemed to be smiling at you. He told me his name was Francis. We struck up a conversation and I immediately found him easy to talk to. But little did I know just how special of a waiter this man was, because if it weren't for Francis's crazy past, I wouldn't be here sharing this life-changing message with you today. Anyway, next thing I knew, I was 6 drinks deep telling Francis my whole life story, about growing up, marrying my high school sweetheart, starting a family, and having to drop out of engineering school. I stopped just short of sharing that day's traumatic events. But then he asked me why I was there at the restaurant that night instead of at home with my family. And I don't know whether it was the drinks or those warm, smiling eyes, but I just couldn't hold my grief any longer. I just burst into tears and spilled my guts to him, right in the middle of this Italian restaurant with red check tablecloths and Sinatra. I told him everything about how I broke my promise to my family, how my wife finally had enough and left me. At first, I felt a bit embarrassed to break down in front of a complete stranger, but it felt good to get that weight off my chest. But then, when I looked up, his eyes weren't smiling anymore. There was something else. Sadness and empathy were shining through. And then he said something that completely caught me off guard. "Come with me to the back room. I have something to tell you," he said in a hushed whisper. When we got back in private, Francis's demeanor changed completely. He got this serious look on his face. His eyes turned wild as if he were about to share secrets of the universe with me, which he kinda did, as you're about to see. Francis told me that my story struck a chord with him. He shared how his wife left him 20 years ago. He couldn't provide the kind of life they deserved either, so he missed out on being there while his children grew up, a devastating and painful reality that he lived with every single day. And while I certainly appreciated the empathy, I couldn't help but wonder, why was he telling me this? And that's when he launched into the wildest, most incredible story I've ever heard in my life. Francis told me that for most of his adult life, he was a private bartender. Somehow, he got a referral to work private parties for some of the world's wealthiest people. And as you might imagine, he saw some wild stuff along the way. But one incident in particular changed everything. Francis told me that one night, he was bartending a private party in Geneva, Switzerland. While he was used to being around wealth and power at these private parties, this one, well, it was different. These weren't your run-of-the-mill rich people. They were the richest of the rich, the most powerful 1% of the 1% on the planet, the secret moguls who really run things. Now, I'm not going to name drop here because I don't want to cause any trouble or get this video removed from the internet, but this party had multi-billionaires, world leaders, and Saudi royal princes attending. Francis was taken aback by the level of wealth and power at this private party, and all these folks were there to talk about one thing: art. They were all discussing just one very controversial and mysterious painting from 500 years ago, a painting by none other than Leonardo da Vinci. Now, we all know about the Mona Lisa, Da Vinci's most famous piece of art, but there's another painting that's become even more important. You'll see why in just a minute. This painting is called the Salvator Mundi. It's Da Vinci's depiction of Jesus Christ. If that sounds familiar, you might have seen a popular news story about it a few years back. So, back in 2017, a Saudi prince bought the painting for a record-breaking $450 million. At the time, the painting was supposedly headed for an art museum in the Middle East. However, after the auction, it's never been seen again. The Saudi prince who broke records to buy it quickly disappeared it, and to this day, no one knows where it is. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering why a Muslim would buy a painting of Christ and hide it from the world. I promise you'll know the answer by the end of this short video. It was on this night that Francis saw something he wasn't supposed to see, heard something he wasn't supposed to hear, because that night, one billionaire had one too many drinks, shared a little too much info with Francis. You see, the Salvator Mundi isn't just an extraordinary painting by one of the world's greatest artists. The billionaire claimed that it actually contains a secret code, a code that reveals the world's oldest and greatest manifestation secret. And if used properly, this code enables any human in the universe to manifest unlimited abundance into their lives, with zero effort. It's that powerful. The drunk billionaire continued to ramble, and that's the real reason the Saudi prince bought it for $450 million, because if this secret got out to the general public, all hell would break loose. I'm sure my face was full of doubt and skepticism, but then Francis gave me this example. He told me that since 2020, a total of $42 trillion in new wealth has been created. But get this, $26 trillion of that has been snatched up by the top 1% of the ultra-rich. That's 63%. Some have called it the greatest wealth transfer in world history. So in the end, it looks like someone from the top elite 1% spent $450 million on the Salvator Mundi simply to protect the trillions and trillions of dollars they keep raking in each year. Because again, if this powerful manifestation secret was available to the public, they couldn't control the world's wealth anymore. In their eyes, $450 million is a small price to pay to hide this manifestation secret from the rest of the world. It became easy to see why a Muslim would buy a painting of Christ and then make it disappear. But what I didn't understand was how a complete manifestation code could be embedded in a piece of art. But that's where the loose lips come into play. Because Francis overheard a conversation that explained the code while serving cocktails at the secret party. So, we all know who Leonardo da Vinci is. He's legendary for his contributions to art, math, and science during the Renaissance. In fact, experts estimate his IQ was as high as 220. For comparison, Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and Elon Musk all have IQs in the 160 range. And it's well known that da Vinci encrypted secret codes in his art, almost all based on sacred geometry, like in Mona Lisa's eyes, the Vitruvian Man, and especially in The Last Supper. Da Vinci was always encoding sacred geometry into his paintings. But what's been kept secret for the last 500 years is that Da Vinci had done secret research into the world's most ancient manifestation secret. In fact, he even took a secret trip back to Egypt in the 1400s. There, he spent a significant amount of time inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is where Da Vinci learned about this manifestation secret. More on that in just a minute. That part isn't too surprising when you think about it. If you're anything like me, you've always suspected that ancient Egypt and the Great Pyramids held secrets to the universe. And as it turns out, you and I were right. Because that's exactly why Da Vinci spent so much time in there, in secret. See, everyone focuses on the mystery of how the pyramids were built. But Da Vinci knew the more important question was why the pyramids were built. You see, the very construction of the mysterious Great Pyramids is a code in itself. But the code was hidden in plain view for thousands of years. It was Leonardo da Vinci who finally found and deciphered this hidden code. And it has everything to do with something we now call resonance frequency. This is something I'd heard as an engineering student, but never imagined that it holds the key to the world's most powerful manifestation secret. Da Vinci's unmatched expertise in art, math, music, and science allowed him to see how resonance frequency was programmed into the why of the pyramids. That's because the ancient Egyptians had understood this frequency on a deep level for thousands of years. They knew we're all born with the ability to tap into the abundance of the universe. And they knew the way to do that was to elevate your personal vibration, but not in the way you've ever heard of before. And get this, it's easier than you've been led to believe. Now you probably already know that everything, and everyone, has their own vibration. But what you've probably never heard is how to elevate your vibration until you reach your resonance frequency. That's where something or someone reaches its highest and purest frequency. That's what happens if you've ever watched a singer break a glass by singing. It's because they were able to match the exact resonance frequency of that particular glass. The Egyptians figured out that when a person reaches their resonance frequency, it's like they explode with abundance. But so many of us are stuck in a low vibrational state. That was me. For decades, I could feel there was something more to life than I was expecting, but I could never reach it. And maybe you felt the same thing too. Like you're stuck, striving for something higher, but it's always out of reach. Now, we've all been told it's as simple as raising your vibration. I tried to do that. Maybe you have too. I took courses, followed gurus, and read tons of books about doing that very thing. But it never worked for me. And the problem is, even if you do manage to raise your vibration, it goes away just as fast. You'll see why in just a minute. Now, like I said, the Egyptians knew that every single person was born with everything they needed already inside them to reach their resonance frequency and manifest abundance. But there's just one thing standing in the way. It's called frequency pollution. It prevents you from raising your vibration, and right now it's harder than ever in history to actually raise your vibration and reach your resonance frequency. Modern times is bombarding us with all kinds of new layers of frequency pollution. Think about how we're surrounded with radio and television frequencies flying through the air. There are Wi-Fi internet signals everywhere we go. Then there's the growing number of satellites orbiting our planet, pelting the Earth with even more frequencies. 5G has taken over the globe and there's Bluetooth devices everywhere. And that's not even mentioning our smartphones, which are always within arm's reach 24/7. All that frequency pollution has scrambled your innate ability to reach resonance frequency. This is the one reason why no one can seem to manifest any abundance these days. But the ancient Egyptians knew a secret that's been hidden from the public for thousands of years, a secret that empowers anyone to reach their resonance frequency effortlessly. The crazy part is that modern science is now proving that the ancient Egyptians knew far more than we could have ever imagined about how to break through to abundance. You see, they knew a key aspect that everyone was missing. It all revolves around one specific organ in our body, our heart. Recent studies have shown that our hearts have some of the strongest vibrational frequencies on the planet. Why is this important? Because it's our hearts that are most responsible for our personal vibration. Scientists recently confirmed that our heart actually sends electrical signals to our brain. This is a complete shocker because until just recently, scientists always thought it was our brain sending signals to our heart, not the other way around. In fact, they even named this phenomenon the heart-brain coherence. Somehow, the ancient Egyptians already knew this. So they put two and two together and realized that you have to focus on your heart to unlock the resonance frequency of abundance. Again, this is something that's already inside you. It's just blocked because of frequency pollution. This is a huge breakthrough because for most of human history, people have focused on their brain frequencies, which is why most people can't manifest abundance. It's the same reason why the law of attraction and affirmations don't work. They're always telling you there's something new you have to learn. And it was Da Vinci who figured out how the ancient Egyptians used specific sound frequencies to target the heart. Using the sacred geometry of the pyramids, these frequencies empower anyone to reach the resonance frequency of abundance effortlessly. Because there's nothing your brain has to learn or remember. Don't forget, it's your heart frequency that controls your brain, not the other way around. And the Egyptians had discovered how one specific sound frequency was powerful enough to literally elevate your heart to reach your resonance frequency, automatically. Now I gotta admit, that sounded kinda crazy to me. Then I remembered from history class how the ancient Greeks would prescribe music as medicine, and how even modern medicine utilizes frequencies all the time to heal. And suddenly, that made a whole lot more sense to me. But here's the most mind-blowing part of all. The reason the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids in the first place was to hide the secrets of the universe in plain sight. Because the Great Pyramids contained secret codes that only a very special few were trained to know how to decipher. But Da Vinci, being the scientific and musical genius that he was able to find and decipher the codes all on his own. That's because he didn't focus on how the pyramids were built. He focused on why they built them. And what he discovered is that the very construction of the pyramids holds the key to the world's most powerful manifestation secret. You see, the angles of the pyramid are at a very specific angle, 51.843 degrees to be exact. That number is part of an equation that reveals how to reach your resonance frequency. But the Egyptian elite kept the secret for themselves. Then, after the fall of the Egyptian Empire, this secret passed out of memory and stayed a mystery for 1,808 years, until Leonardo da Vinci uncovered it around 1477. It should be clear enough by now that after da Vinci uncovered this secret, it became the one secret that unleashed the abundance of the Renaissance. But since all of da Vinci's work was funded by European royalty, who were now reaping the abundance of this secret, he couldn't broadcast it to the common man. This manifestation secret was again hoarded by the elites. Surprise, surprise, right? But Da Vinci found a way to encode this secret into the Salvator Mundi, just like the Egyptians encoded it into the pyramids. Francis told me he had written down a specific number he'd overheard at the billionaire's party that one night, which sounded to me like we were on track to finding the abundance frequency for our hearts. When Francis was done telling me this incredible story, I felt a sense of hope. Maybe I could turn things around. That's when Francis told me there was just one problem. The billionaires at this party kept talking about combining two separate frequencies to create the magic. It's part of the math equation devised by the ancient Egyptians. The two frequencies represent the alpha, which represents the beginning, and the omega, which represents the end. But Francis only had one frequency written down, and he had no idea what the second frequency was. At that point, I felt like someone let all the air out of the room. Just like that, everything felt hopeless again. I was pretty drunk at that point, so I told Francis I just needed to go home. We exchanged phone numbers and agreed to meet up some other time. The next day, he sent me a text. Hey, I was messing around looking at the Salvator Mundi online last night, and I think I found a clue. Meet me at the restaurant ASAP. Next thing I knew, I was huddled over Francis's laptop checking out this 500-year-old painting. Not just the regular painting, but an inverted version of the painting that made it symmetrical, like this. And when he did that, he discovered more hidden symbols that were not visible in the regular version. He also noted that the X was at an interesting angle, 41.843 degrees to be exact. So we wondered, what if this was a clue that leads us to another vibrational frequency? It was an exciting lead, but it still didn't make any sense. There's no way those two numbers were the sound frequencies. It just didn't make sense. But as Francis pointed out, these were simply part of the code. Da Vinci was far too intelligent and clever to simply reveal the abundance frequency so easily. And one of the things he overheard at the private billionaire party in Geneva is that Da Vinci loved to use math equations. and that there was some sort of math involved with deciphering the code. Which isn't too surprising since he was known for his incredible abilities as a mathematician. So, we found ourselves at a dead end again. We knew cracking the code involved a math equation, but we didn't know where to go from there. It seemed like the code was unbreakable. Then it hit me. I remember this one math professor at Notre Dame would always call me to his classroom to fix an IT problem. It's funny because this man was one of the most highly regarded mathematicians on the planet but couldn't figure out how to work a damn projector. Funny thing is, we kind of became friends over the years, and he said if I ever needed a favor. So I told Francis about the mathematician and we proposed to ask for help. Maybe he could recognize a pattern or something. Since Francis hadn't had any luck cracking the code himself, we figured, why not give it a shot? So I reached out to the world-renowned mathematician at Notre Dame and asked if he could find any kind of pattern or code or anything. And I'll admit it, he looked at me like I was off my rocker at first, but then he said he loved solving puzzles and agreed to take a look. The next day, I went back to the university to see what he'd found, and he told me that he noticed a strange connection between the two numbers. So he used a little-known math formula called the Cauchy-Riemann equation, and it gave him two very specific numbers. Then he said something that gave me hope. These are two perfect numbers for two converging sound frequencies. I've never seen anything like it. I thanked him for his help and promised I'd report back to him soon. Then Francis and I rushed to have the sound frequencies made up into audio tracks, and we eagerly tried them out the next day. Francis and I met up at the restaurant since it wouldn't be open for several hours, and we could have the place to ourselves. Since my mathematician buddy mentioned converging frequencies, we had the sound engineer make a digital audio track with both frequencies playing at the same time. So for the next 3 days, we listened to the audio track for hours each day. And well, instead of receiving heaping amounts of abundance, we seemed to actually experience a string of bad luck. Francis had his nose broken breaking up a bar fight one night and had his entire tip jar stolen another night. And I wasn't faring much better. I got a notice that I'd made a mistake on my taxes and the government was garnishing my wages, which led to a string of overdraft fees that I definitely couldn't afford. If you've ever been hit with those awful things, you know they just dig your hole deeper and deeper. Anyway, it was safe to say that we had not reached the resonance frequency. And at that point, I was ready to give up on the whole thing. I'd wasted all this time chasing some ancient mystery like I'm an overweight Indiana Jones or something. What was I even thinking? I should have been figuring out a real way to make money. I was starting to doubt the universe wanted to send me any abundance at all. I told Francis I was done with the whole thing, and we parted ways. But 3 days later, I got a text from Francis. Hey, I've got some major news on this resonance frequency thing. We need to meet ASAP. And I'll be honest, I thought about blowing him off at first. I had already wasted enough time and energy on this, and I needed to get back to the real world. But deep down inside, something was nagging at me. And in the end, I had to know what news Francis had. So we met up later that night. That's where Francis told me he figured it out one day while mixing oil and vinegar for his salad. He noticed how the oil and vinegar never actually mixed together even when you combined them. He pointed out how we were listening to the two frequencies right on top of each other. Maybe they don't mix that way. But then Francis had the idea to have each frequency made into a separate track, and then listen to each track individually in each ear. So his left ear was hearing one frequency and his right ear was hearing the other, combined but separate, kind of like oil and vinegar. And the results were unmistakable. Almost immediately things turned around for Francis. The first night a mysterious patron left him a $500 tip after only having 2 beers. The next day, Francis's estranged son contacted him after not speaking for more than 10 years. And just that morning, he unexpectedly received a settlement from a class action lawsuit against a previous employer to the tune of $450,000. So it was safe to say Francis had reached his resonance frequency. I followed his instructions and started listening to the audio tracks for a few minutes each day. And just like Francis, I experienced a life-altering change take place. A few days after I started my frequency ritual, I was promoted to the head of the IT department at Notre Dame, which meant I'd be making double what I was paid previously. A couple days later, I got a certified letter from an attorney. At first, I was fearful to open it, figuring I probably owed more debt or something. Instead, it informed me that my great-uncle had passed away and left me $788,000. The crazy part is, I didn't even know this great-uncle existed. And to this day, I have no idea why he left me that money. But the greatest blessing of all came the next day. My wife called and said she'd been thinking things over and that she wanted to give our marriage another shot. And get this, that was before I even told her about the promotion, my big pay raise, or that massive inheritance. At that point, there was no doubt in my mind. I'd reached resonance frequency. Now that I had my family back and the future was brighter than ever, there was just one question. What do we do with this life-changing information? First thing we did was share it with a few of our closest friends and family, and one by one, abundance started flowing into their lives effortlessly. So eventually we realized that we can't participate in the cover-up of this powerful information. We couldn't be part of the elite circle that hoarded wealth in abundance, desperate to keep it from others. Leonardo had risked everything to hide it in plain sight. Who were we to cover it back up? The universe intended for us to use it to enrich our lives and to share it with the world. So I'm honored to introduce you to the Da Vinci Manifestation Code. It's the only audio frequency on the planet that effortlessly triggers resonance frequency, allowing you to manifest limitless abundance into your life effortlessly. Seriously, there's no work involved. All you have to do is pop in a set of earbuds or headphones and listen to this digital audio for 10 minutes a day. That's it. It's really that simple. There's nothing else like it on the planet. Knowing what we know now, it's crazy to think about all the things I've tried in the past that got me nowhere. Trying to use the law of attraction, which of course is just a load of BS. Driving Uber on weekends hoping that I'll save up enough to actually make a difference in my life. Unless you've got 20 years to save up, I don't recommend that route. Affirmations, astrological readings, journaling, college, none of that got me anywhere, which is kind of ironic. As I look back, I realize I was desperately chasing abundance, but the Da Vinci Manifestation Code allows abundance to flow to you naturally with absolutely zero effort, just the way the universe intended. Which is why I'm so excited to share the Da Vinci Manifestation Code with you today. Because I've been through it, my friend. I know how hard it is. And it makes it even worse, knowing this simple but powerful manifestation secret has been hidden from the public all these years. But today, you can join the thousands of other men and women who've changed the course of their lives thanks to the Da Vinci Manifestation Code. Just like Jamie from Dallas, Texas. I've always had a gut feeling that the ancient Egyptians had a wealth secret. But holy cow, I wasn't expecting this. All I do is listen to the Da Vinci Manifestation Code for 10 minutes each morning while drinking my coffee. Needless to say, I quit my job at Costco after I became a multi-millionaire. And I've never thought I'd live in Hawaii, but here I am, and life has never been better. Or Thomas from Chicago, Illinois. Honestly, I'd given up on life as a divorced truck driver buried in debt. But after being lonely and miserable for 8 years, I married my soulmate, who's way out of my league. Plus, I don't have to worry about the stress of driving a truck anymore since I won a couple $100,000 on a lotto ticket. I used it to start my own trucking company, and now we live in a mansion on a lake. I'm forever grateful to my friend for showing me the Da Vinci Manifestation Code. And then there's Janet from Salem, Oregon. Something always told me we had the power to manifest abundance inside of us. Finally, the Da Vinci Manifestation Code has proven me right. I was a server at Olive Garden, barely scraping by for years. Now I travel the world, staying at luxury hotels and eating at the finest restaurants, having someone serve me for a change. All I have to say is let the universe give the abundance it has in store for you. I promise, your life will be better than you ever imagined. One reason why everyone loves the Da Vinci Manifestation Code so much? It's just so simple to use. Again, all you have to do is pop in a set of earbuds or headphones for 10 minutes a day. That's it. The Da Vinci Manifestation Code automatically triggers your resonance frequency. Just like it did for me, Francis, and hundreds of others who've transformed their lives effortlessly. But I do have to warn you about something right now. I'm not sure how much longer this website will be on the internet. There are certain people who are furious about this being leaked to the public. I tell you this because once you leave this webpage, I can't guarantee that you'll have the opportunity to get the Da Vinci Manifestation Code again. So if you think there's even a chance that you want to give the Da Vinci Manifestation Code a shot, make sure you claim your copy of the Da Vinci Manifestation Code before you leave this page today. And I just want to be clear about something. This isn't about me. So while loads of people have told me to sell this for upwards of $4,000, I have no interest in making a profit on this. I'm already wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. My family is happy and healthy. I don't need anything else. But I do feel like I was put on the earth to spread this message. You and I both know you landed on this page for a reason today. The universe did not lead you here by accident. So I'm not going to shake you down for a bunch of money, so you can enjoy the abundance the universe has in store for you. All I ask for you is to pitch in not $250, but just $39, just to cover the production costs and help pay the employees that work for the Da Vinci Manifestation Code. And while that is a shockingly good deal, don't be fooled. This program is extremely powerful and will change the very course of your life. I just want to get this out to as many people as possible before this website gets shut down, which will probably be real soon now. So make sure you take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity the universe is giving you. All you have to do is hit the big order button below this video. When you do, you arrive on our 100% safe and secure checkout page, where you'll fill out your order info. And once you hit the submit button, my team will send you an email with the access to your digital audio track. Your email should arrive in about 5 to 10 minutes, which means you save another $12.99 since we don't have to ship a package to your home. But that's not all you get when you place your order for the DaVinci Manifestation Code today, because I've decided to throw in a few extras for you today. Just think of them as bonuses for taking action when the universe gave you this opportunity. The first bonus Francis and I are including is called the DaVinci Sleep Frequency. Look, scientific research continues to pour in, and it's conclusive. The most powerful key to an abundant, vibrantly alive day begins the night before. So Francis and I worked with top sleep researchers and audio engineers to create a proprietary sleep frequency. It translates DaVinci's resonance frequency into a nighttime audio that primes you for optimal sleep. That way you can get to sleep fast and stay asleep all night, so your mind, body, and spirit are primed for the day ahead. You're going to feel amazing every single morning. You are absolutely going to love it, and it's completely free when you place your order today. The second free bonus is called the DaVinci Energy Clearing Frequency. The more consistently you use DaVinci's prime frequency, the more aware you'll become of disturbances in your personal vibration. You remember how we're bombarded with all that frequency pollution, right? This short and simple audio is designed as a tune-up to clear away negative energy and frequency pollution. Simply slip your headphones or earbuds in at any time you start to feel a little off, or triggered, or heavy, or like you're not fully connected to your heart. The powerful audio helps clear away negative energy and restores your heart energy. It's so quick and easy. It's the ultimate lifesaver, and you're gonna love it. The third bonus that's included when you order today is called the DaVinci Mood Frequency. This custom audio is designed to be played first thing in the morning. Play it when you're getting ready or making your morning cup of coffee or tea. Play it when you're in the shower or making breakfast. See, the latest neurological science is proving that we can target brain chemicals with specific audio frequencies. And the DaVinci Mood Frequency is constructed to target the release of dopamine, aka the happy hormone. What better way to start the day than a rush of happy hormone flowing through your body? Your life will never be the same, all thanks to the DaVinci Mood Frequency. So to recap, that's a total of 3 life-changing bonus frequencies worth $121, and they're all free when you place your order today. While that's a no-brainer deal in itself, I'm gonna take it a step further. Because when you place your order on this website today, I'm going to guarantee your results with a 365-day, 100% money-back guarantee. That means you get an entire year to take the DaVinci Manifestation Code on a test drive. If you're not satisfied with your experience, I'll refund you every penny, no questions asked. But if you're like the thousands of people who tried the DaVinci Manifestation Code before you, your life will be 100 times better once you can manifest abundance into your life effortlessly. I've decided to shoulder all the risk here so I can get this out to as many people as possible before this page is shut down, which probably won't be long. So click the order button below to try the DaVinci Manifestation Code 100% risk-free. I've really put a lot of thought into making this an easy decision for you right now. And this was as much of a no-brainer offer I can come up with, so you've got nothing to lose and the world to gain. Go ahead and click that button now so you can get started right away. Look, you're at a crossroads right now. I know you probably didn't wake up this morning expecting to be here, but the universe doesn't make mistakes. Right now, you have a choice to make. You can ignore everything revealed to you today and keep doing what you've been doing, but I can promise you, you'll keep getting the same results. And if you are honest with yourself, you'll admit that if you were truly happy with your current situation, then you wouldn't still be watching this video. But now you know life doesn't have to be this way. Besides, we both know you landed here for a reason today. And with the knowledge you have now, why wouldn't you give the other path a shot? The one filled with unlimited abundance. Besides, the fact that you're even here right now is proof that you're open to trying something different. And that something is the DaVinci Manifestation Code. So click the button below right now to get started. Your future self thanks you. Still here? I don't blame you one bit. We covered a lot in today's video and I know you might have some questions. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the most commonly asked questions we get about the DaVinci Manifestation Code. Question 1. I've tried other manifestation programs like the Law of Attraction. They didn't work. What makes this one any different? Answer. This is not based on the Law of Attraction. This is a scientifically proven method that helps you reach your resonance frequency. And in the end, science is just proving what the ancient Egyptians and Leonardo da Vinci have known for centuries. Question 2. How is my personal information protected? Answer: we use the most trusted third-party service for your digital orders. They use 256-bit encryption technologies using Secure Sockets Layer or SSL, which means your info is 100% secure, backed by the best technology available today. Question 3. How does the guarantee work? Answer: when you say yes to the DaVinci Manifestation Code today, you are doing so 100% risk-free. Because I'm going to give you an entire year to decide if you're happy with your results or not. And if at any time in the next 365 days you feel that your life has not improved drastically, simply email our support team at support@davincimanifestationcode.com and we'll refund 100% of your investment on the spot. Question 4. How soon should I expect results? Answer: well, every person is different, so that answer isn't the same for everybody. Some have experienced massive results as soon as the first day. Others have taken months to fully activate. I recommend using it every day for a full month before getting too worried about it.